Hello students, let us continue chapter 17, Forests, our lifeline. In the previous class, we discussed about a visit to a forest. We studied about different types of trees and now we know the meaning of crown of a tree and canopy. Let us recall that the branchy part of a tree above the stem is known as the crown of a tree. Activity 17.2. Visit a forest or a park in your neighborhood. Observe the trees and try to identify them. You can take the help of some elders or books on trees. List the characteristics of the trees that you observe, such as the height, shape of leaves, crown, flowers, and fruits. Also, draw the crowns of some trees. So, you need to visit a forest or a park that is in your neighborhood and you need to observe the trees in that forest or the park. You need to try and identify the trees that you have observed. In order to identify the trees, you can take help of your elders or you can even look up for the names of the trees in a book on trees. You might have observed different characteristics of each tree, such as the height of the tree, shape of its leaves, crown, flowers, and fruits of the tree. After your observation, you need to draw the crown of the trees that you observed. Professor Ahmed pointed out that trees had crowns of different types and sizes. These had created different horizontal layers in the forest. These are known as understories. Giant and tall trees constituted the top layer, followed by shrubs and tall grasses, and herbs formed the lowest layer. Professor Ahmed told the children that different trees had different crowns, that is, crowns of different types and different sizes. Because of these, different horizontal layers are created in the forest. As you can see here in figure, these are called understories. The top layer consists of giant and tall trees. After that, there comes a layer of shrubs and tall grasses. And the lowest layer is formed by the herbs. Would we see similar kind of trees in every forest? Asked Bujo. Professor Ahmed said no. Due to different climatic conditions, there are variations in the type of trees and other plants. The types of animals also differ from forest to forest. Bujo had a doubt whether every forest would have the same kind of trees. Professor Ahmed explained to him that different climatic conditions result in variation in the types of trees and other plants that you see in the forest. Similarly, different types of animals can be found in different forests. A few children were busy watching beautiful butterflies fluttering here and there on the flowers of shrubs and herbs. They had a close look at the bushes. While doing that, their hair and clothes had seeds and thorns clinging to them. Some children watched butterflies that were fluttering here and there on the flowers of shrubs and herbs. You all know that butterflies feed on the nectar of flowers. The children took a close look of the bushes in the forest. While they were observing the bushes, thorns and seeds were clinging, that is, sticking to the clothes and even hair of the children. They came across numerous insects, spiders, squirrels, ants and various other small animals on the bark of the trees, plant leaves, and on decaying leaves on the forest floor. They started making sketches of these creatures. The forest floor seemed dark, colored, and was covered with a layer of dead and decaying leaves, fruits, seeds, twigs, and small herbs. The decaying matter was moist and warm. Forests provide favorable environmental conditions, food and shelter to a variety of wild animals and insects. The trees of the forest act as their shelter, while a variety of plants and animals are their food. Various insects, spiders, squirrels, and various other small animals live on the bark of the trees, on the leaves of the plants, and on the decaying leaves that were on the forest floor. Here, as you can see in figure, the forest floor is dark colored and it is covered with a layer of dead and decaying leaves, fruits, seeds, twigs, and small herbs. The children observed that the decaying matter was moist and warm. Children picked up various seeds and leaves for their collection. Walking over the dead leaf layer on the forest floor was like walking over a spongy carpet. Is the decaying matter always warm? Professor Ahmed suggested that the children could perform an activity to get an answer to this question. The children picked up different types of seeds and leaves of plants to make their collection. They felt like they were walking over a spongy carpet while they were walking on the layer of dead leaf on the forest floor. Here we are asked that is decaying matter always warm? In order to get answer to this question, Professor Ahmed suggested that the children should perform an activity. Activity 17.3. Dig a small pit. Put vegetable waste and leaves in it. Cover them with soil. Add some water. After 3 days, remove the upper layer of the soil. Does the pit feel warm inside? For performing this activity, first of all, you need to dig a small pit and put vegetable wastes and leaves in that pit. Cover this layer of vegetables and leaves with soil and you need to add some water to this. After that, wait for 3 days. 3 दिन के बाद आपको जो लेयर है सॉइल का अपर लेयर वो रिमूव करना है. You can observe that the inner side of the pit remains warm and moist. किसकी वजह से? Because of the decaying things. Paheli asked, there are so many trees here. Also, there are many forests like this. What difference will it make if we cut some trees for a factory? अब पहेली के मन में एक सवाल आया, इतने सारे पेड़ हैं इस फॉरेस्ट में, तो अगर हम कुछ ट्रीज़ फैक्ट्री बनाने के लिए कट करेंगे तो क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा? What difference will it make as there are so many forests like this and every forest has so many trees? Professor Ahmed said, you have read about autotrophs, heterotrophs and saprotrophs. You have learned how green plants produce food. All animals, whether herbivores or carnivores, depend ultimately on plants for food. Organisms which feed on plants often get eaten by other organisms and so on. For example, grass is eaten by insects, which in turn is taken by the frog. The frog is consumed by snakes. This is said to form a food chain. Grass, insects, frog, snake, eagle. Many food chains can be found in the forest. All food chains are linked. If any one food chain is disturbed, it affects other food chains. every part of the forest is dependent on the other parts. If we remove one component, say trees, all other components would be affected. So to this question of Paheli, Professor Ahmed replied that you have already read about autotrophs, heterotrophs and saprotrophs in the first chapter. You already know that green plants produce food on which most herbivores feed on, and carnivorous animals feed on herbivores who are actually depending on plants. So all the animals, whether they are herbivorous or they are carnivorous, they are ultimately dependent on plants for their food needs. Here we are told that organisms which feed on plants are eaten by other organisms and so on. So what does this mean? Just like I gave you the example of how herbivores that eat plants are fed on by carnivorous animals. In the similar manner, consider this example. Insects eat grass and these insects are eaten by frog. A snake consumes the frog. So in this way we have the food chain. Grass which are eaten by insects, insects are eaten by frogs are eaten by snakes, and snakes are consumed by eagle. So here we can see the formation of a chain. In the similar manner, a number of food chains can be found in the forest. They are linked to each other. That is, अगर कोई एक food chain disturb होती है तो वो सारे food chains को affect करेगा. In this way, every part of the forest is dependent on other part of the forest. That is, if we remove the trees, that is one component of the forest, this will affect the other components of the forest. So this is the difference that cutting of trees will make.